Hey folks, going to shoot a quick video this morning. I guess this will be sort of an unofficial fifth installment of the Russ and Tori Taft Bell Buckle Weekend series. Doesn't really have anything to do with that at all, except on the way back, once Dave and I left Bell Buckle, we came up back through Nashville. And we stopped at Grimey's, and I picked up quite a bit of stuff there, and I thought I would show that this morning. I've got vinyl and CDs. I'm going to show the vinyl first because I think the CDs were a little bigger pickups, but still it was all good. So anyway, when we went into Grimey's, was a section where there were used CDs, and I did some shopping there. Then I went back to this back room. Dave and I went back there, and we went through some used albums. And I don't know if this was more of a bargain area or not. Most of the albums I got were only a buck or two, but I found some good stuff. The first album I'm going to show is Rock Island Line, Johnny Cash and Jeannie C. Riley. At first I thought this would be a Pickwick album. For some reason, it seems like Pickwick puts out albums with those two, material from those two together on a lot of projects, and I don't know why. But it's not. It's actually, up here it says the Longines Symphonette Society, and I did a Google search for the pronunciation of Longines, and it sounded French to me the way she was pronouncing it. I don't know much about it except for that. There was no way I was going to leave a Johnny Cash album for this cheap. I think it was only a buck or two behind, especially when it was in good condition. I'll let you take a look at the label. I'll eventually move this to a better liner. But that's what the label looks like. So I don't know much about it. I have heard some of the songs off of here. Mean-Eyed Cat, I've definitely heard. I believe I've heard Rock Island Line and Home of the Blues. It's also got Two Timing Woman and I Thought You'd Like to Know. That was the Johnny Cash side. Jeannie C. Riley's side is The Little Town Square, Satan Place, Box of Memories, Yesterday, Yearbooks and Yesterdays, What Was Her Name? So I'm looking forward to that one. The next one, Smothers Brothers, Think Ethnic. I've listened to a little bit of this. I knew this group from when I was a kid. I'd watch them on TV. And they were always funny, and this album's kind of no exception. I think they do as much with their comedy bits as they do with the actual music. Was it Mercury Records I've heard of? Well, that's kind of goofy. Everybody's heard of Mercury Records. The point I was trying to make was the label kind of surprised me. I'll let you see the label on this. I didn't really see a copyright date. I should probably look it up on Discogs and see, but that label is kind of cool. Like I said, I've never seen it. I'm having a hard time picturing the Mercury label in my head, but I don't remember seeing anything that looked like that before. So that's the Smothers Brothers. Then we got Tony O'Kay, Life in the Food Chain, I'm a big Tony O'Kay fan. I don't have any of this. Well, this is the first album that I've got on vinyl. I've got just about his whole discography, just about on CD. But yeah, I wasn't going to pass this up. Of course, you see the promo sticker here on the bottom, and when I pulled out the vinyl to wash it, I noticed. Yeah, see, I don't know if this is a white label, what you'd call a white label promo, because I've never seen a full moon label before. Obviously, it is white, but I don't know if it would be in color normally or not. But it does say at the very top, demonstration not for sale. So, Tony O'Kay, can't say enough good about him. He's a brilliant songwriter. Hasn't put out an album in a long, long time. And I miss I miss his projects a great deal. He's really a tremendous songwriter. This next album is David by David Meese. He is a Christian artist. That's David on the back. David Meese is a very good pianist, and most of the projects he's done have been more in the pop area. I've not heard this one. This one is an older album than any I've heard before. I don't know if it's his debut or not. It's on the Myrrh record label from 1976, and I don't believe prior to this I'd heard anything that old from him. But yeah, he wrote most of the songs on there, and I'm sure it's going to be good. He had a pretty lengthy career, though. I think after about the 80s or maybe even into the early 90s, but then he just seemed to quit recording. Not sure why that is, but so this next album, very pleased to find it. Steve Green. Steve Green's a magnificent vocalist. Got his start, believe it or not. Now, the music he typically does these days, he's a very very polished, very great technical singer. So he does what's called middle of the road, MOR. But he's absolutely got some killer pipes. The guy can really sing. But he got his start with the Christian rock band Whiteheart, and decided that wasn't for him. And then he went to doing this stuff, and I think while he was doing that, he was in a Gaither vocal band for a little while, and did some nice work with them as well. But so I was very pleased to pick this up. It did come with a lyric sleeve. In fact, this album is particularly, I like this album a lot because and it's on the Sparrow label. Let you see that. Which is a Christian, was one of the big Christian labels in the 80s. I particularly like this album. It has one of my favorite gospel songs on it of all time, Broken and Spilled Out. A song that I used to have an accompaniment track to, and I sang it all the time. I love singing that song. That's the back. Nothing spectacular there. So I was very pleased to find this. probably the big hit off this as far as Christian radio was concerned was People Need the Lord. Wounded Soldier did well. A lot of these songs did well. And then I also found his second, what I believe is his second album. I'm pretty sure it's his second album. He Holds the Keys. On the back, it's got a picture of his wife. I won't pull the vinyl on this because the label's the same as on the first, Sparrow Records. But He Holds the Keys is a brilliant song. Yeah, another good album from him. And then probably the album I was most excited about as far as the vinyl's concerned, Al Green, I'll Rise Again. Gospel album. Not sure if this album, I've only spun it a time or two, so I'm not sure where it'll land as far as my appreciation for his gospel albums. It'll take a lot for this to replace something like, oh shoot, now I'm blanking on the name. I can picture the album in my mind, but I can't remember the title. But there's another album from the 80s. I believe it was the album after that, this one, that was one of my favorite Al Green albums of all time. This one is good. I mean, it's Al Green. He doesn't. One thing, I guess the quality of the songs may vary from album to album, but that voice, that's gold all the time. One of the greatest singers that I've ever heard. All right, so let's get into the CDs, and I'm hope that all my buddies in the VC that are into rock and metal will hang with me, because I got quite the story to tell you. So we're in the CDs. We're in the used section of the store. I'll start off with some of the other stuff first. This album, Jeff Bridges, self-titled. There's more of an acoustic feel to it. My buddy Dave said, you ought to buy this. This is a really good album. And I haven't really given it a deep spin yet as far as getting into it, but I've listened to a couple of songs, and I think he's right. I think I'm really going to enjoy this. But, when Dave tells me that I really need to get an album, or a CD, I listen. The next one I've not had a chance to really listen to. It's actually more in the classical vein, and it's a project from Bailee Luck, the Juno Concerto. This is with the Colorado Symphony. It's got a picture of the symphony on the inside. A little different from Bailee Luck, but I'm looking forward. This is what the album looks like. So I am looking forward to having some time to sit down and get through that album. They had some Joe Bonamassa, and I couldn't leave it behind. So this is a live at Carnegie Hall, an acoustic evening. It's a 2 CD set. With another disc in the back there. Yeah, Joe Bonamassa. I really dig his playing. So I see use Joe Bonamassa, I usually pick it up. This album, next album, is Warren Haynes. Used to be an Allman Brothers band. He was also founder of Government Mule. I'm familiar with Allman Brothers Band. I need to look into Government Mule because this is more blues-based rock, kind of like Joe. But I dig it. It's a good album. I heard this first. My buddy Dave had a copy of this, and I listened to some of that, and knew I wanted to pick this up. And it's also it's got a booklet. Got a booklet in it. So yeah. Warren Haynes, Man in Motion. Now comes the Road Warrior, aka Legion of Doom segment of the program. Because, oh, what a rush! Quite literally. They had a bunch of Rush CDs. I paid, this one is, I mean, and they look like they had just been taken out of the shrink. I mean, the jewel cases, pristine, the CDs are pristine, and they only wanted like, well, $3. So I believe this is their debut. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is their debut. I had 2112, loved it. I've listened to this a couple times, and I'm really digging it. So I'm pretty excited to have found that. Another $3 album, Rush, Fly By Night. When I was going through the stack and trying to cherry pick Rush, because I just simply couldn't get all of the CDs that they had that I wanted. I mean, it was insane. I've not had that kind of problem in a used CD shop in a while. But so this one I remembered Andy showing in the video that he did for my contest back in the summer, and so I thought, yeah, I'm definitely picking this one up too. Again, $3. Well, I'll take that all day long. And then Rush, In Rio. 3 CD set. I paid $6 for this. This one I've yet to get through, but I've really been digging on Rush lately, so I'm sure I'll enjoy this. Okay, this next band they had a whole bunch of, but I picked this one because I've heard Scott Waters rave about it, and that's Aerosmith, Rocks. I'm sure most of the folks in the VC are familiar with this, so I won't go on and on about this, but yeah, was very excited to pick this one up. The next album was another recommendation. I had been texting on Facebook Messenger with Doug Van Pelt, who's the editor of Heaven's Metal, now known as HM Magazine, and he's a huge Scorpions fan. So I saw this, Scorpions, Humanity, Hour 1. There were 2 Scorpion albums that he personally recommended. He said this was great, and he liked the live album. And of course, I think I've shown the live album earlier in the year when I picked it up out of a collection. This one I haven't spun. I need to dig out my Scorpions. My phone's doing something funny, and I can't get. I want to get all my Scorpion stuff together and rip them all at once, so that I don't have any problems, and that's why I haven't heard that one yet. I was just listening to this next one yesterday, and I have to tell you, again, this group, there were all kinds of albums or CDs for this group, and I had to cherry pick based on what I already had and what I knew I wanted. So British Steel is a classic, so I grabbed it. Judas Priest. I've got several of theirs, but I did not have this one. And 4 for that, so that's not bad. And then the last one I picked up, before I show this last one, let me say this too. They had a stack of Overkill albums. And it was so overwhelming, and I thought, man, I really need Metal Ron on speed dial right now. So I ended up not getting any. What was I thinking? I should have picked up a couple and just took a stab in the dark. But I didn't. I honestly didn't even know where to start with Overkill. This next group also had a bunch of CDs, for sale, and I just went for the one that I thought I recognized, and that was Rainbow Rising. And just because I thought I recognized the album cover, I've seen it being shown somewhere. And when I looked at the credits, I did open it up and look at the credits, and when I looked and saw, guitar, Richie Blackmore, vocals, Ronnie James Dio, I thought, well, I'm not going to go wrong with this album. I just don't see that happening. So that was my haul at Grimey's, yeah, it was a good haul. And then great end to a great weekend. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're not falling over with me having got a second video up in as many days. So I promise I think my energy's been kind of low and work's been grinding on me, but I've been watching videos, and I miss being part of the conversation. So I expect to see a lot more from me, and I'm glad you're all hanging in there with me. So talk to you soon. Until then, have a great day.